Do you know when you're on a ride at Universal and you want to look at everything because everything looks so cool and there's so many lights and props and yummy foods? But once it's all over, you're kind of rethinking everything that happened and sad it went so fast because you wanted to take a second to focus on each detail, but you had to keep going to see the next cool thing. Well, that's how Never Have I Ever Season 3 felt. I should add, it has been about a month since I watched the new season of Never Have I Ever. I'm basing my thoughts and opinions on how I remember feeling about the season after one watch. Davy's life. As Davy is our main character in Never Have I Ever, the whole show revolves around her life. So, although there are many things that felt rushed this season, the biggest and most obvious is about our protagonist. In the first 2 seasons of the show, we go through the time span of around 4 months. In those 4 months, we see a pretty detailed overview of the events she experiences without too much time passing between seasons. Season 3 started right where Season 2 left off, so right after the winter dance, the second semester of Davy's sophomore year. At the end of Season 3, we are at the last day of Davy's junior year. A total of 1 year and 4 months pass in just one season, when the seasons before it were 2 months each. Given the first 3 episodes of the season do not feel rushed, they feel very on time with the show's usual speed. It starts to rush after episode 3, right after Davy and Paxton break up. I can understand why Davy and Paxton weren't together long. Usually a show breaks their couples up right after they finally get together to keep things interesting. But this show did not go in that direction. Once they broke Davy and Paxton up, they stayed broken up. So that was hard to get used to, especially those who are Team Paxton out there. I know the show confirmed Season 4 will be the last season, so they want the series to probably end when she is going off to college. So they are making senior year the last season. The show probably didn't know how many seasons it would get, so they weren't planning to make 2.5 years into 2 seasons. But they did a good job with what they had to do if you look at it from that focal point. I will say though, if the goal was to get Paxton out and on good terms with Davy since he was older and graduating, then they should have had her choose Ben at the end of Season 2, so Paxton was already out of the love story picture. With rushing the storylines to end in the place they were hoping, they had to sort of rush a third guy into Davy's story, which was Des. I never really cared for Des, did not trust him or his mom after the first mistakes their characters made, in my opinion, and I never really felt the chemistry between the two. I will say, Ben felt more like a side character in many ways, and I did not think he and Davy grew in any way for the ending of the season to feel right. Like, when Ben and Davy finally get together, I was hoping it would be this big moment that felt like it was expected. But leading up to that moment, I didn't think Ben and Davy had enough build-up this season for that moment to pay off the way I was hoping it eventually would. Also, Kamala and Manish never really got that much screen time this season, but it did show their relationship develop in a lot of ways, so I'm hoping there will be a wedding in Season 4. I did love Nalini's storyline this season. She has got to be my favorite character since the last 2 seasons, and I just love how true she plays her character. That's a huge reason I love Never Have I Ever. Each character is so well written and just shows great development throughout. However, one character felt left out this season, Fabiola. I have read that fans were upset her whole screen time was just about her relationships this season. They wanted more character development like Eleanor got this season with her acting. I guess you can argue Fabiola had great development in the last season, and so that's why maybe it felt like a letdown this time when they built the character up so much just to have her in the background. The last comment I have that felt rushed this season was the final hard-hitting moment. Each season has a moment at the end that carries a heavier topic and always creates a tear-jerking and beautiful scene. In Season 1, it was when they threw Mohan's ashes in the ocean and Davy made up with her mother. Season 2, it was when she has a talk with her therapist about feeling crazy and then when her and her mother watch videos of Mohan. There's always a great lead-up to each of those 2 moments to really make them hit harder. However, the moment in Season 3 when she tells her mom she wants more time with her did not hit as hard because we only found out about Davy going to another school in the last episode. It wasn't something that was mentioned throughout for us to feel a connection to the moment like the other 2 had. As far as predictions go for Season 4, I often compare Never Have I Ever with the 90s show My So-Called Life. The 2 involve a girl having their coming-of-age story, and there's 2 boys. One super dreamy, and the other's annoying but always there. Sadly, My So-Called Life only lasted 1 season, but it was rumored the main girl would end up with Brian, the nerd, even though she spent most of the season dreaming over her other love interest, Jared Leto. I like to think this will be how Never Have I Ever will end. Davy will be with Ben. She'll choose her nerd, her Brian. I enjoyed this season for many reasons as well. This show is full of amazing characters and beautiful moments between families and the lessons added in each episode. I love all these characters and everything this show represents. I am looking forward to season 4 and cannot wait to see where their stories will go. This time, I just hope I can stop and look around a little more.